What is up, guys? You already know it's your boy Kagi back at it again with a new video, and today we're gonna talk to Cloudwhite. He's an investor, an artist, a content creator within the blockchain world, and I don't like to put labels on people because this guy, honestly, he's more than that. He's way more than that, and I know it, and that's why I wanted to do an interview with him. Because when you put labels, you constrain people to this little world, and that's all they are. No, this guy, it's way more, and we're gonna find out. I know it for a fact, but I don't know all the facts. So that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna talk to him, and we're gonna see what is up with him. Okay. All right, Cloud. It's nice to have you here, man, and I
The hell,
appreciate you
dude.
taking your time. Okay. What you say? It lagged.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope I can live up to the hype.
Now we're chilling. We're chilling. We're chilling. This is my second interview. I'm also a little bit nervous, but I kind of like go in hard so that all the fear or all the nerves kind of just come out. You know how it is. But anyway, tell me a bit
Yeah, man.
about
I feel you.
yourself.
I feel you. I'm already. Yeah, man. So I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, United States, about an hour or two north of Chicago. Um, Born and raised here. Went to school for. I got a degree in film. It was a very avant-garde film school. We did a lot of experimental techniques, and it wasn't very commercially driven. But that's what I went for school. For better or worse, I still got all these loans. I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to pay them off. So actually, it's kind of funny. That's how I started. So some of my work, I do 16 millimeter film work, and that
Mm.
is what I learned in college. And when I saw that people were minting artworks on the blockchain, I sort of started doing this like sarcastically because my mom was like, "You got to pay these loans off. You better go make some money." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, mom, I'll sell finger paints on 60 millimeter film." And so it started off kind of sarcastically, but then I really fell in love with the medium again, and I've been working on a lot of really interesting stuff.
Okay, I'm really really excited to see all of that because let me tell you
Yeah.
something. I don't know if you've seen other the past interview, maybe not. It doesn't matter. The point is that I interviewed this artist, and he's a film degree as well, and I'm a film degree as well. So I totally understand where you're coming from in terms of film, and that's amazing. There's a technique and there's a feeling. There's something about it that it's just not the same as digital. It's just not the same. It
Right.
just feels different. It feels more crafty. I guess that
Yeah.
could be a word. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, every movement it takes 10 times longer to execute, and you really have to think a lot about your execution every step. It's so much different than digital where we can just click on and off and record, or we can animate on computers easily now. When you're working frame by frame, it's a much different craft.
The lighting as well, how much light you put. Calculating the
Right.
light was one of the one of the hardest things for me when I was doing film, and I'm not. Maybe you were really good at it. I know I had other individuals in my classes that were fucking beasts, man. I'm talking about like they would see the light and they would tell you what the ratio of that light might be, and then they would scan it and be like, oh shit, almost there. Like we would like do those type of tests, and yeah, it's just
Right.
way more difficult,
Right.
and that makes it way more appealing when the artwork is actually done. So yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
All right, man. So let's jump into some of the questions that I have here. We don't have to be stuck to these questions, but just to get it going. So who introduced you to the NFT world and the crypto world?
Sure, man. It's an interesting part of my history in this space. So, really, what grabbed my attention was CryptoKitties. I believe that was late 2017, maybe end of November, beginning of December. CryptoKitties launched, and there was a story on Vice News, and they were talking about the future of collectibles. Now, I've always been a collector my whole life. Collecting Pokemon cards, collecting beanie news about the future of digital assets, it really caught my attention. And prior to that, I had never purchased any cryptocurrency. So I'm not really like a big cryptocurrency guy, but I love the idea of blockchain and the potential for true digital ownership, which is kind of what non fungible tokens have brought to the playing field, right? This idea of a future where collectibles are truly digital and they're truly collectibles.
Well, truly
So
yours, yeah. It's the
yeah,
first time that
yeah,
we have that kind of concept in the digital world. Absolutely, yeah.
right.
I agree. So wait. So you read this article, and tell me a bit about like what was your thought process there, because usually it takes people quite a few times, quite a few like here, there, here, over there, and then they're like, fuck, maybe I should get into it. What am I doing? So
Yeah,
so it was that like a one-time thing, and boom, you research, you did it.
yeah. It was a one-time thing. I saw it, and I just saw the potential in in what it was, and I still feel, once people get past the wallets and the barriers to entry, and they truly understand what's happening here, it's fascinating to everyone. It's just, getting over the barriers was the hardest part for me. It took 3 days for my first transaction to go through on a cat because I didn't understand how to adjust gas or adjust for congestion on the network, which CryptoKitties was notorious for clogging the network. So I didn't understand how to work around that whatsoever, and I sat with a pending transaction for like 3 days. So,
Holy shit.
you know, once you get around that, once I felt the success of getting through that process and feeling like I actually owned the cat, I felt the potential for what it could be.
Right. Incredible. That,
You
that
know?
that's incredible that you actually did it in a one-time thing. For me, it was kind of
Yeah.
the same. I'll tell you. Like I read, I think it was something about the Ethereum Alliance back in the beginning
Yeah.
of 2017 and 2000 at the end of 2016. I kind of read something, and I didn't go in for the money. I never did it for the money. Because you go in for the money,
Right.
you get out for the money, because you go in for the money.
Right.
Oh, this hype for the money. You made money, and then when you lose, you leave. So you don't have that core feeling of why you're there. There's no core. So
Uh-huh.
I read, and I could relate to you in that, because I read and I was like, holy shit! But this is different. This is something going on here. So yeah, I agree with you. This world it's amazing. It's amazing. So
Yeah.
we already know how long you've been known about crypto. That was my next question. No. This is how long you've known about crypto art. Like, when did that happen? Because crypto art is different from crypto kitties, although they're kind of similar in terms of like uniqueness and stuff like that. But crypto art as a niche, like when did that start? When did you know?
Yeah. So right shortly after CryptoKitties, there was a platform that came out that was trying to that did introduce the concept of like art on the blockchain, but it wasn't like, if I remember correctly, I don't remember the name of it, but it wasn't necessarily user friendly. It wasn't like you could just get a profile and start uploading art. I think they were even more particular on who they were letting in. Like, it was really just a handful of people. I remember there being all these barriers, but I remembered thinking that the potential for the art world in crypto was truly expansive. I mean, right now we're talking about art on the blockchain, right? So digital art that is minted on the blockchain, but there's so many other use cases for art on the blockchain, including art in the physical realm. One kind of example I like to give is, imagine if the Mona Lisa was put on the blockchain the moment that it was created. Like, there was a barcode or a QR code on the back, and it was scanned and it was attached to a token. Every time Lisa changed hands and the token hands, you could ownership physical art in the real world.
All right.
So
So
there's all kinds of applications on how blockchain can truly help in as far as preventing phonies or fakes.
I kind of lost you. I kind of lost you there. Can you?
Okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I kind of lost you there for a little bit. I'll tell you where I lost you. So so
Sure.
so you were talking about the Mona Lisa. The moment it was created. If we could do that, at the moment, put it with a barcode. Attach it to the actual physical Mona Lisa, and then obviously you got all the transactions from all these years from where it came, and
Right.
yeah. So that's pretty much what you were saying, right?
Yeah, and then in addition to that, it prevents fakes, right? if every physical piece of art was also synced with a token on the blockchain, artists could prevent forgery in the physical realm as well. So it's interesting because by taking a digital file that anyone could essentially have, anyone could take the video, have an MP4, a screenshot of the video, but they wouldn't own it because we know that the token is associated in a wallet on the blockchain.
Right, and the actual video is within the actual NFT. It's all the information is there. So yeah, I kind of try to
Right.
explain that to my dad. My dad and my uncle both have art galleries.
Yeah.
So I try to explain to them like that concept of, okay, maybe you could take a picture, put it in your wall in a digital, maybe in a, because that's how I kind of see the future, where you have screens in your house, but like better
Sure. Yeah.
looking screens, like less consumption, like so you can have a lot of them. So you walk into
Right.
somebody's house, they have this huge painting and it's amazing, and they will look like a dumbass if they have a picture there that is fake and you ask them, oh, let me see it on the blockchain. They could essentially take a
Well, it's
picture, but
right.
they'll look dumb. They
You
have
could
something
say
fake.
the same thing about what I was saying with the Mona Lisa. No one's stopping you from doing that.
Right,
But we would just know it's fake, right? But
right.
that said, if it was a lesser known artist and it was fake and you're showing it to someone, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. I know what you're talking about though, as far as people that aren't in our space, not quite understanding it. They see the piece, I'll show it on my phone, and they go, well, what do you do with that? And I go, well, you display it like you would any other art, like you can get a digital picture frame and you can put it in your hall. But better yet, you can share it via the internet anywhere. So truly, your ownership of a piece minted on the blockchain has a better chance of you being able to show it off than some piece hanging in your hallway or your bedroom. I
For
don't know about you,
sure.
but I don't have people trancing through my house every day looking at my walls. So my chance for as an owner for exposure is actually much greater as a digital collector.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Um, so, all right, so let's jump into what is the focus of your art in a specific? Is it games or is it something else? Are you like into a mix of things, or what is it right now? Where are you
Yeah,
going with your art?
yeah. My experience collecting NFTs and being part of the NFT communities as an investor and my work as an artist are generally going to be pretty separate. I recently did a project that involved a Axie that I sharded on Niftex, the Niftex platform, and I held an artistic campaign where those that drew art that held the Axie in it were given a piece of the Axie via the shards, the fractions, right? So that was kind of more like an artistic experiment. But my pieces that I actually will be creating they'll touch closer to home. There'll be actual things that are of artistic expression to me. Some themes are student debt, sexuality, religion, social climate. So there's all kinds of just opinions that I have on things that are going to be expressed through the majority of my work that's going to be coming out.
Okay, okay. So most of your things are not gonna be related necessarily to the things that you're investing in. That's what you're telling me. Okay, so it's not gonna be like we're not gonna see an Axie necessarily.
Not necessarily. Are you catching me okay, or am I breaking up?
You broke up there when I asked you. So your art is, like you said, it's not necessarily the same thing as the things that you're investing in. So not necessarily we're gonna see like art on Axie Infinity, let's say, or something like that.
No, not really.
Maybe
No,
one or
not
two, maybe.
maybe if it fits if it makes sense to do it.
Okay.
The pieces that I'm working on, I do them because I feel compelled, like there's something I have to comment. So if there's something I feel I need to comment on with Axie, then I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's one of the things that I like about you, man. That you put your opinion out there. You don't really care if people don't agree with your opinion, and that is something that we need right now very much in the world. Because here's the thing: people are stopping. They stop themselves from having an opinion on certain issues, whether it's political, whether it's art, whether it's whatever, and this and that, just because they're afraid that they're gonna be like, oh, I don't like that guy, fuck it, So I like that
Yeah.
you put your thoughts out there and you let them be known. If you like it, cool. If you don't like it, cool. But it's all good. So I like that because I
Yeah.
relate to that
Yeah.
a lot.
I appreciate that, man. It's not. I guess it's not hard to do because it just naturally happens for me. You know what I mean? Um, and yeah, I do think there's an opinion. You're either gonna love what I have to say or you're probably gonna hate it. It's
Right,
probably
it's a
gonna.
love or hate type of
There's gonna
thing.
be.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. I'm very similar to you in that sense. I express myself and I don't really care. And in the past few years, I probably tone it down a little bit because I also understand when it comes to like having relationships with people, that people don't necessarily think the same way as you. So they're gonna they're gonna ban you from their life. And recently, somebody kind of like some girl, um actually, I said I had an opinion on something and on Instagram, and then she's like, oh, we can't be friends anymore, and then she blocked me. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, if we can't have different
Yeah.
opinions and have a conversation about it, then we're going all about it wrong. We're wrong. We're all about it wrong. So
Yeah. That's a societal issue we're dealing with, in my opinion. I'm not part of it, so I actually left social media, aside from leaving my Twitter account for artistic reasons. My personal social media accounts, I left probably 4 months ago or so because I will not get wound up in that. And I've heard horrible stories of family members stopping talking to each other and everything. It's a real shame that people can't have opinions yet still have respect and admire one another. I don't know what happened with that. Um, we
yeah.
should be able to express ourselves that way. Are you getting an echo on me?
No, no, no. But I am. Yeah, I actually hear
Okay.
myself. Yeah.
If you want to pause it for a second, I'm gonna get my other headphones.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah, perfect. I hear you even
All
better now.
right.
Yeah.
What the fuck was I saying? Oh,
Um.
we're really dealing with we're dealing with a societal issue where people, it's weird. Like, people feel like they can't express themselves, and when they do, they get reactions like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And it feels like for some reason we can't be opinionated but get along still. I don't know when that
Yeah,
happened,
we kind of
but
lost a little bit of values, I guess, in that sense. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but
it's just like mutual. It's respect. You don't have to agree with everything everyone else says, but you should be able to respect someone's opinion and hold on to yours. And you know what? That's life.
yeah,
Not
and if
everyone's gonna
and if
agree
you
with
want to
you.
change somebody's opinion, which that's what you ultimately want to do most of the times that you have an opinion, you got to do it in a way. And I'm gonna be honest. I've been a victim of that thing, of me not being able to uh, articulate my opinion and coming off as like, no, this guy doesn't want to listen.
Uh huh.
But the point is that if you want to change somebody's opinion, you gotta use facts. You gotta use history, use a set of different things to make that person understand where you're coming from. It can't just be, look, I think about this and that's it. Like,
Right.
if you want to change it, then give me more context, give me more things.
Right.
That's what I meant. Yeah. So, bro, let me see where I'm at right here. Okay. So how long I met you through Axie Infinity. And let me tell you
Yeah.
something. I appreciate the videos that you did at the beginning because I've been doing videos on games for a long time, and I saw your video on Axie Infinity. I was like, maybe I could do a little bit of this. So you inspired me to
Oh,
to
good,
go out
man.
there
I'm
and
glad.
do it too. I was like, this guy's doing it. I'm gonna do it too. I saw a few of your I think the hourly thing. I also saw, I think, an interview you did with Jiho a little bit. I saw like half
Uh
of
huh.
it. I also saw, but this one I saw it today, that you had like some kind of podcast with seasons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Leak something. I didn't.
Last league tonight.
Yeah, I didn't click on it, but I saw that you have quite a few. So we'll jump into that later on.
Yeah.
But how long have you been involved in the Axie Infinity world? And I kind of know this already, but just for the people that don't know, do you play it or you invest more than you play?
I have invested from the well, I'll tell you about that. But I invested from the very beginning with the notion, already knowing that I was never really going to play just the straight up battle version of the game. You know, this idea of land or terrarium or that kind of mode, this kind of Tamagotchi, take care of, raise, collect resources, that was pitched very early on. And that was what I always personally gravitated more towards. So, you know, to answer your question, no, I don't really play the battle game that much. I played in the beginning a little bit. I just am not good enough, and I don't have the patience or the that kind of gaming mind to learn all the parts and keep up with this, you know, the changing things every 2
Metas.
weeks. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it's just not my world. I'm more of a, you know, like I said, I'm more of a collector too. So like I went after really rare things when I first started collecting Axie, because for a long time that's all you could do was just look at your Axie. So I did weird things, like I collected first parts. So like Axies that had like the first of a given body part in the
Okay.
game. And rare class Mio, which are like bird and reptile and bug. Like I would chase these really weird things to collect, basically. And that
Okay.
was my version of the game.
I totally we're totally in sync here, because I play it, but I play it more for the content sometimes. And
Good.
man, I what I gravitated towards was the same thing you did. It was the whole idea of an adventure. That whole
Hmm.
idea that you can do all these things, because I always been an FPS player, you know, shooting, pa 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 pa. So like,
Right.
I understand you completely. So let me ask you, where do you sell your art right now currently? Like, what are the different marketplaces where you're like, where you want to sell your art? Because obviously you don't have a lot of art out there yet, but
Yeah.
what are you? Where's your focus at right now?
Yeah. So I am currently selling on Known Origin and Rarible. Those are the only two platforms that I'm selling on at the moment. You know, I just actually started minting the artwork not long ago, maybe like 2 months ago. And because 16 millimeter is such a weird kind of analog format, one sec, my dog's going crazy. Um, it's tough to actually digitally transfer this footage. It's actually really expensive and time consuming. So when I go to transfer a piece digitally or to digital from the actual film, I have to
Digitize
have a
it.
lot. I have to have a lot of pieces prepared to transfer at once, or it's not like financially worth it.
Yeah, because you gotta send
So
them in, right? You're not doing it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta like send in all the footage to have it transferred, and you're better off doing a lot at once because there's like just a $150 setup fee just for like taking any amount. So like on the first set that I did, that color dot test, that really was a test for me on Known Origin to see if I could take something from concept to minting, you know, as far as 16 millimeter work is concerned. So it's kind of abstract, and in that concept, you know, like it was literally a
Experimental.
test. Yeah, it was experiment for me to see
Okay.
if I could get from concept, you know, like I said, all the way
I
through
really, I really
sales.
do like that. I wanted to know a little bit more about it. I don't know if you have some description there. Maybe I didn't read well or whatever. But
Yeah,
now that it's 60 millimeter, I'm more attached to it. Like I want one of those, and I'm probably gonna
yeah,
pursue and buy one or two. The
yeah.
only bad thing that I see is that for some reason it doesn't translate very well in Rarible. Like it doesn't appear.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
So
the reason it's
explain a
not
little
on
bit.
Rare,
Yeah.
yeah. So the reason it's not showing up on Rarible is Rarible does not support video files yet. It was never minted on Rarible, so it was never meant to be viewed there in the first place. It was minted on Known Origin, and so if you go to my Known Origin profile, you'll be able to see them all playing at once.
Okay.
Um, but like I said, so it was. I knew I had to have a test concept to put forth to execute, and the idea actually was really more of a performance piece. I would say is like the artist description. So the way that I released the project was I went behind the scenes and I DM'd various collectors throughout the communities that I was in, telling them that I was going to have this beta launch. Like they were invited to the beta collection, and whoever collected all 6 of the colors, the different colored dots, would then receive a special NFT reward. That's
Okay.
how it was pitched. Collect all 6 dots, be the first to do so, and you're going to get this special reward. And so the way that known origin works is you can only release one piece a day. So I released
I
each
like that.
piece over the course of 6 days, constantly updating these potential, buyers, these collectors, about making sure they collect them all. And when all was said and done, I think that high gas at the time was one of the things that made them not sell out directly right away. It was costing about $40 a piece to mint, but ultimately there was, I believe there was 5 people who collected all 6 colors, and then they got their special reward, which was a piece that I recorded manually using the visual effects inside the camera of a text that said NFT exit scam. So in short, the idea here was that, I copped out on their special reward, and it was like a exit scam.
Yeah,
So if you were
I like
around,
that, man. Now you see, this is what I like about you, because you're not just making the art. You're making this whole what's it called, egg hunt type of
yeah,
thing, And not only are you doing it here, now everything is clicking together because you did it here, and then you did it with the Coke thing. Like, okay, if
yep,
you do this, then you get Coke. It's like the whole artwork is an experiment in itself. Like, so
right.
I'm understanding you better now. Okay, so
Yeah,
just
so it's
letting you
very
know.
experiential. It's supposed to be. They're almost like performance pieces.
Hmm.
So to finish that real quick, uh, the tribute or the idea is that there was all these projects that came out after CryptoKitties that were going to be the next big NFT collectible game, and they exit scammed left and right. People were selling these assets for crazy amounts of ETH, and then the project would just bury itself. And so that was kind of the play on that. And with Coke, really the idea there was it was a total experiment. The idea was, can we create value for a digital asset? So something that has a baseline value, I think we evaluated it at 1 Ethereum, which is a bit high for the origin that it was, possibly. But can we increase its value through social status and expose? So it's really it's almost like an elaborate marketing campaign.
Yeah. I read a little bit of the blog post or the interview that you did with Niftex, and I kind of understood because you sent me the link. But when you sent me the
Yeah,
link, I was like, "What is this?" Like, I didn't even like click on it because there's so much content out there. It's just it's
sure.
So I didn't do it. But now that I read your thing, I was like, "Oh crap!" Like, now I understand the fact that you create value with other people, not just because you are Cloudwhite. No. You
No,
created value with other people together, and everybody together put their effort or a little bit of their piece to give that NFT more value. So I understand where
right.
you're coming from there. Absolutely. That's genius, man. And like you said,
Thank you.
if you were a bigger influencer, which you're gonna be at some point, for sure. I can
We'll
feel
see.
it. Yeah, I mean, if you don't chase it and you just do what you do, it's all good. I think it works out at the end. But I lost my train of thought here.
Yeah, if I was a bigger influencer, the piece could have had a even larger impact.
Right, and it would probably still be going today, because maybe you
Right,
could do different
right,
faces. And
right. I
yeah,
was always thinking, what happens when I launch? Like, what if I decided to do another art contest where I opened it up for another week, and distributed a certain amount between however many people did it? So you can, I don't know that that project's necessarily dead or done. It's dead for right now while I finish this next series, but you can keep doing things with it, because it's a live market. You can go buy some Coke right now, you know.
Hey, let me ask you. This is a little bit controversial because you had you applied for Super Rare, and I just want to ask you, can you tell us a bit more about your thoughts on exclusive spaces like Super Rare? What are your thoughts on that? I have mixed feelings about that. I understand their side. I also understand our side as creators and as artists. I have a mixed feeling, and I want to see your thoughts. I want to tap into
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. There's two sides to the coin on this. One, you want Super Rare to hold a strong standard, as far as the artists that they're letting onto the platform. I understand that. I appreciate that. I want that. So I get their initial intent. Um, my problem becomes once you've seen the outpour of support for an application like mine, even if you don't think that's enough to just invite me in right away, at least communicating with me would be appreciated on how I could further adjust my application. So I don't know if you've seen or not. Obviously, that tweet got a big outpour of reach of support. I've written them via their email as to not be too intrusive. Then I did eventually message them all via direct message, and I got very little to no response. Then I participated in the Super Rare Discord. I even nitro boosted it, little to no response. So just I understand giving feedback to every artist would probably be impossible, but when I've shown the support that I have, and when I've had the cries for support that I've had, just a little direction might be helpful. So I like what they're doing as far as exclusivity, but there has to be some kind of, I don't know. I hate to be like, I'm not your average candidate or whatever, but like, I feel like I've proven that I'm worth some sort of response.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna tap into that a little bit because I was very, very supportive of your tweet. I actually went all out because I also talked to them about it before Super Rare kind of blew up, when it was kind of starting to blow up. And I talked to the guy from Super Rare. I don't know his name. I forgot. I basically told them that I'm representing a few artists, that I'm transitioning them from from the physical world. I talked to them about blockchain, and they're really interested on it. And I told them, look, they're not gonna make an application talking up talking to a video like that's totally outside of their scope. Like for them, art is just they create art. They don't have to apply. Who applies to be a good artist? Oh, let me apply to be a good artist. Like if you go into a university or something. So for
Right.
them, these are experienced artists that I grabbed from my dad's world, and I talked to them about it, and they're interested, but they're not gonna make a video. And if they are, then I think it's too much work. So I am the middleman, and I'm telling them like, look, I want to make profiles for them. I'll give you all the information. I'll be the middleman, and I want to be able to sell their art in Super Rare. And they kind of like told me, like you said, they did answer, and they told me, oh, we'll get back to you. Let me talk to the team, but they never got back to me. So I was like kind of like frustrated
Yeah.
in that sense. So I understand your frustration there.
Yeah.
And I also made a few tweets which were kind of controversial. If I was a bigger influencer for sure, because I grabbed, and I don't like doing this, but I grabbed a piece from somebody else in Super Rare, and it was on I think it's a piece on Van Gogh. Yeah, one of the
Uh-huh.
piece on Van Gogh, and I said how, like literally it was the same copy of the original, but like digitized with a little bit more of flares and stuff like that. And it was a nice piece, but I tweeted, how is that original? You're literally
Right.
taking somebody's art piece, you're making little changes, and then you call it original. So you are gatekeeping people that are making originals versus people that are making art that are literally copies, just a little bit tweaked. So
Right.
it was kind of harsh for that artist that I picked, and I didn't want to do that, but I had to do it just to make the point, you know.
Yeah.
And
No, I've seen the same kind of stuff you're talking about on there. And all I can really say about it is I've cooled down, And as soon as this next batch is done, I'm not even reapplying to Super Rare. I'm not putting this next series on Super Rare. It's going to go all on Known Origin. I already have it all planned out. If they decide to reach out after that, we'll talk. But uh, emotionally, I'm over it, and I'm just gonna keep doing me. I'm not gonna be on my knees begging for longer than I already did. You know.
True, 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 true.
Right.
I wish you the best in that, man. Look, I'm gonna
Thank
support
you.
you the best I can. You can use my crypto voxel space if you want to make a launch, like bring people in. I'm sure
Sure,
you
that'd
know.
be cool,
I know you
actually.
know other people that probably have art galleries, but I would
No,
love
but
to
I mean,
host
hey,
you.
that's something we can talk about. I just got to get there. Uh, I can tell you this. So one of the things that is holding me up is finding someone that's going to allow me to put my film through the projector. I use all kinds of weird materials in this next batch, like hair and blood, and magazine scraps and things taped to the film and all kinds of obscure things. So my big challenge has been finding someone that'll let me run it through their multi-$1,000 transfer machine. That's
Damn,
what I'm
bro.
working on.
Okay, okay. Hey, I wish you the best on that. Yeah,
Yeah,
those machines and those old school cameras, some of them can go for a lot of money, and people hold them real
yeah,
tight because they understand the worth of it. All right, so
yeah.
when can we expect kind of like a next drop of
Yeah,
your art?
that's an exciting question. I would say I'm gonna do I'm gonna be like Axie Infinity and just give you the worst case scenario. Uh
Substack September, whatever.
yeah, right.
uh,
So I would say at the latest, there I will have artwork out before the election in the United
let's
States.
go, let's go. Good stuff, good stuff. I like it, I like it.
So
All
like
right.
in less than a month, it'll start coming out for sure.
Okay,
For
I'll
sure.
keep an eye on that. Maybe I can afford it, maybe I can't. It doesn't matter. I'm still gonna support you.
Thank you,
I'll
man.
do what I can with the money that I that I'll have at
There's
the
still a
moment.
couple dots out there if you're interested.
No, yeah, I'm
They
gonna
weren't
get one.
bad. They were like zero point 0.1 Ethereum.
Yeah,
Um, the NFT reward part of it has ended.
it's all good.
But there's still a couple dots.
It's all good, man. I'll check them out. I did actually
Yeah.
check them out. I was gonna do it. What threw me off, and I didn't understand why wasn't it populating and that's all it was. So I wanted to understand
Yep.
that, and
Yeah.
and to add to that, maybe I don't know, maybe it's a little bit more work to you, but maybe you could offer people that have the video. Maybe that's up to you to give them a gift for now. You know.
Oh yeah. So when you buy it, you can download the actual movie part. But I know what you're saying as far as like a GIF on like rare, like if they buy it on Rareable and want like
Yeah,
a
but
GIF version.
actually mint it. Like, oh, here is a gift, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but that's too much work, honestly. In reality,
No,
there's no
and I
point.
thought about it for a long time. I'm glad you brought this up. You know, when I originally was thinking of my concept and how I was going to execute this from beginning to end, a big decision I had to make, as little as it might seem, but big decision to me was whether I was going to mint as video or as GIF. And I chose to go with video because it's a film.
That's what
It's
you
an
want it to be.
animation.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so I think it's just more true to the actual medium. And that's why I ended up going with actual movie video as opposed to something like that. I mean, they all rotate, they all keep playing continuously. But Rareable also said that they're going to have support for that very soon. It's something they're working
Okay.
on.
Perfect.
So
Yeah. I'm
hopefully
excited
it pops up.
to see that. Now, let me ask you. I have this concept of having people have thought about it and people are talking about it. Even Anthony Pompiano. I don't know if you know Pomp. Um,
Mm-mm.
he's a big investor in crypto and crypto, Bitcoin, and gold and stocks and everything. But he came across the art world, and now he's big. He's bullish on art, and he every time that he's bullish on something, he actually has facts. So he talks about the traditional art, how much is worth, and then how that can translate into this new world and all of this. And now he's super bullish on it. And one of the things that he's doing is that he's commissioning art in the physical world, and then he's also going to transfer into the digital world and have a one-to-one basically. And I had that thought already, of having one-to-one, creating a physical artwork and then having it digitally too. So with your experiments, I think that could work really well, because you can say, okay, if you buy the first piece, if you buy the first digital piece of that artwork that is physical too, then you can open the option to buying the physical one. The first one that buys it is the first one that gets the option to buy it, the physical one as well. You know?
Sure. So I actually have a concept that I'm working on that I guess I'll share with you. If anyone steals it, you'll know it was my idea.
Hey, what's up? You steal it, you already know, brother. Pay up.
So I don't know if you've ever heard of async art, where they can, it's art that uses layers to composite a larger masterpiece. Have you ever been on async art?
Never.
Okay. So to make a long story short, though, my plan is I live on Lake Michigan, and I go down to the lake, and there's all these bricks that always roll up on the beach. And so years ago, I took these bricks home whenever I would find them, and I would spray paint them different colors, like totally random different colors. I had a whole wall full of spray paints, and I would do them different colors. They'd be solid, so it'd be like an orange brick, but each brick was different, right? And then I brought them back, and I built a huge sculpture out of these bricks that I found there, but I brought them back painted, and I kind of made them anew, right? You see my dog here? What an asshole.
Yeah.
So my concept is I want to do a similar thing where I take these bricks and I'm going to 3D scan them as layers, hopefully. But it's like, have you ever heard of like Adopt a Highway?
Yeah.
Where you can adopt a highway, but really you're just donating money. So this is Adopt a Brick, where you're adopting one of the bricks in this physical sculpture in the real world. That's your way of owning it.
I like it, and you could even like make it more appealing. Not more appealing. This is an idea. It's not necessarily more appealing, but it could be appealing to do something like, and I'll add to your thing. Maybe okay, you adopt it, and then portion of that adoption that you put that money that you paid for to own that, then you take that funding to fund other new artists that you think are good, and are upcoming. So that way. It's not all about the money. It's about ownership, about you making money, and also bringing up other artists as well. And that gives you, at the end of the day, more, just more power.
Well, you bring up an interesting point about ownership, because that's actually what the project is about. Because I'm telling the owner that they own this brick, right? And it's scanned in, and they have the image of it, and they have the token. And I'm even telling them where that brick is located in the world. And these to add to, if this wasn't clear enough, the sculptures that I've built are on public land. Okay. So like it's not on land. It's like kind of like street art, right? It's like public parks that I built the sculptures in with these colored bricks. So then what happened over the years with my first one is kids would go down there. They're probably having a drink, smoking a joint, whatever the fuck they're doing, making out with their girl. And they would like take the bricks from the sculptures. I don't know if they thought they were like souvenirs or like why they did it, but like it turned into like a hangout spot, and then they would take the bricks. So then, my concept goes even further, like, okay, well, who owns the brick now? The teenager that stole it and has it in their garage now, or you, because it's minted on the blockchain? It's like, it kind of brings in conceptual thoughts of ownership as well, which I think is
true. There's conflicting thoughts. I like it. That's what
right.
Art is all about. Like it's not. It's
right.
There's just no clear line in art. So I love that. All right. So let me see where I'm at. We're almost almost there. We've been almost like an hour, dude. This is a long one. All right. So how do you value your art? Is it a combination of time, effort, or just because you're very skilled, you can do it very quickly. You value it based on skills, not on time and effort. Because I do art or whatever, a video, and I could do videos quick. But people, when I tell them, oh, you do it quick, so it must be worth only, if I did 30 minutes of a long video and I did it in 30 minutes, now just because I did it in 30 minutes, now you're gonna pay me only for 30 minutes. That's not how I value my thing. I value on my
Sure.
skills, so how do you value yourself?
I think that's a little bit, I get what you're saying as far as that's concerned, but I think that's a little bit different than like art. Like that's like a job you're piecing out, you're pricing out, you
Right.
know. For me personally, I'm a big fan of like Andy Warhol's philosophy on art just being how well you can market yourself. So really, at the end of the day, if you've successfully marketed, like I'm a big fan of like Jeff Koons and kind of like these kitschy modern pop things. Like, when someone gets upset because a white canvas on the wall in the museum sold for $6 million, I like that.
Hell yeah.
That, like that does it for me. I think it was Pac. He sold something
Red canvas?
the other day. It was like a red square a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, red
And
square.
it's like he took a paint bucket and he dumped red on Microsoft Paint, and he minted it, and it sold for like $7,500 or something.
Yeah, I don't disagree
So,
with that either at all.
yeah, so like
It is what it is.
I like that, and then I like that it pissed people off.
Anyways,
Right.
but that's crazy that happened.
But with mine, you'll find that, so I use a really kind of minimalist technique. But then usually I try to have a very impactful message, kind of just like with the color dot test. If someone looking at it is just going to see some colored dots, if they don't read don't go on to read past that, they're not going to know about the connection to the NFT, exit scams, which is really what the whole piece is about. So, things may look simple on the surface, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are
simple.
that simple.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I've said to a lot of people. Like art, you have to understand a little bit of the background from the artist and from the art itself. You understand a little bit of the background, and right there and then you start connecting with it. So you can't just like look at it and be like, oh, that's a nice piece or that's a bad piece. You got to understand the whole context of why that happened. And even if it happened because I wanted to do it with no context, oh, let me throw red paint in this and that's it. Just understanding that I did it because I did it just like that without train of thought. Just let me just do it. Just understanding that as a viewer, you're like, oh, he just did it because he wanted to. It was one of those feelings like, oh, let me go get ice cream. So you connect. That person connects. Oh, he did it because he wanted to. So it has value. I do things because I want to. So you start connecting. Absolutely.
Right. I was at the Cleveland Museum of Art a couple weeks ago, and there was a piece hanging on the wall, and it looked like a giant piece of grid paper, just a white background with lines, kind of like you would draw an architecture piece, or like grid paper,
Yeah.
And I kind of like was looking at it, and I was intrigued, and a guard comes up and he goes, "You'll never believe this. The artist who did that suffered from schizophrenia, and all of these lines were hand drawn, and it was her therapy." So then when you start looking at it through that lens, that it was hand drawn without a ruler, I mean, it was perfect. It looked like perfect grid paper, 3 meters high, 4 meters wide. It was a big, big canvas.
Wow.
So when you add context to something like that, it has a whole new meaning.
Wow, that's actually incredible, and it goes hand in hand with what we were talking about. Incredible, yeah. That's crazy. Once you understand, it's different. It hits different. All right, so let me see. Let me see where. Oh, so tell me about your family and friends. Do they know you're doing blockchain art? How do they feel about this? Do they even understand?
If you ever watch any of my interviews that I do with other people, this is hands down my favorite question to ask everyone, because I think it's the one thing that we can all relate on in these communities that the people outside of these communities don't necessarily understand. So it is by far my favorite question, and I'm happy to tell you that some of them are starting to maybe see it. But it's been a very lonely 3 years.
Okay,
You
okay.
know, they still don't understand technically how it works by any means and large. And then they lump it in with, the tabloid kind of news about cryptocurrencies. So, they don't really see that my true passion lies within the blockchain technology and these kinds of potentials that you and I are talking about now, and not necessarily how high or low Ethereum and Bitcoin are going.
Right, right.
You know,
Dude, that's I would love to see an art piece from you. Um where, dude, I can, we can even collaborate in the future. Just give you an idea, like, because I know you have all this experience type of art, and imagine minting art when Bitcoin is low, I mean high, and
hmm
then burning some of your art when it's down, like things like that, like just crazy shit, you know. And then
sure,
when it goes down, whoever owns that piece of art that you minted 10 of them but they haven't sold, then that person that bought first has value, because now you burned
yeah,
five or one or two of the art pieces that haven't sold, and now
sure.
as it goes down, you're actually giving value to the person that already bought it, because now there's less. So
Right.
you can
There's all kinds of interesting things you can do with that as far as, art relating to your crypto and blockchain experiences. I'll give one more little leak here. I have one piece that's titled "It's Free," and it literally is just text that says "It's free," and it's filmed on a Bolex, so it's filmed on 16 millimeter camera. So it has a little bit of a film grain to it, but it just says "It's free." And then there's a little description about how there's no such thing as anything free in life. And ultimately what you discover when you go to collect this piece is you still have to pay the minting fee and transaction costs, and it's kind of like a lesson in nothing being free in life.
Wow.
Unfortunately, some of
Hey,
that.
bro, I see potential in your. If you could translate what you're telling me a little bit quicker in terms of Twitter and stuff like that, just people, like, this is a first step, obviously, or
Yeah.
but translate that to people. People will understand this concept, and I think you're probably the first person that I know of. There's maybe others that I know of on the blockchain that are doing experience art, that you learn through the
Yeah.
process of owning it. So
Sure.
that's just hands down, man.
Thank
You're
you.
fucking amazing, man. Don't keep
Thank
doing
you.
what you're doing, okay? We're almost there. We're almost there. So tell us a little bit. This is basically all about the next questions. Is all about the Coke art
Uh-huh.
piece. Okay, so we
Yeah.
talked about it a little bit. So tell us a little bit about fractionalized NFTs. How did you get into it, and what was it that because you innovated a little bit there, or not innovated? I don't know if that's a word, but like you were one of the first ones that probably like got into it and said, "Fuck it, let's do it." So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was actually that technology and a platform like that was something I was waiting a long time for. Because like I said, when I got into the NFT space, I wasn't this big bag holder. I didn't have all this Ethereum to work with. I was literally having to pay cash for my Ethereum for whenever I wanted to buy in. It's not like I bought Ethereum at, $7 a coin and it shot up 10 years later and here I am and I'm able to throw it around.
Lambo.
Um, Right, exactly. It was not like that whatsoever. So, right from the start, I saw these these whales just buying these assets that I really would have liked to have had, but I knew there was no way I could ever afford them. So it was always talked about from the very beginning, like how cool would it be if we could fractionalize these assets so that you can feel like you're part owner or you're invested in these pieces that have the potential to really be worth something long run. I mean, you're seeing the same things today. All the trading platforms are now having fractionalized shares of stocks on the stock market, right? Or there's other platforms like Rally Road where you can buy shares of physical goods, physical collectibles. So it seems only natural that these digital assets would eventually have the ability to be fractionalized. And Niftex was the platform that kind of poked its head up first, or that I was aware of first.
And it's
And
intuitive. It's easy to.
yeah, right. So it seemed kind of inevitable, but they finally figured it out. And I experimented with it for a little bit. There was a couple assets, and I would buy in a little bit here and there. And then what happened was these high-end axes started getting fractionalized,
Popping off.
and yeah, and SLP mixing with that happening had all of these various tokens, shooting all over the place for a couple weeks. And then what you had there again was, another gas killer. Gas essentially killed that to a large extent, as far as I'm concerned too. Um,
Yeah.
but they also had a problem where they ran into an issue with their contract, and they had to relaunch their tokens. So that kind of slowed things down as well. But
Yeah, I remember
nevertheless,
that. Yeah.
they're now moving to a layer 2 solution. I think they just announced Matic Network, which I'm not particularly sold on. I'm happy that Axie's not doing that. But if they feel it's a quick solution for them to get around this and continue expanding the fractionalized, markets, then like that's cool,
Yeah, a lot of people
So
are doing that. A lot of projects going to Matic. I don't know
yeah,
why. I haven't done
yeah,
my
I don't know.
research, but yeah.
Yeah, it just all I know is I met the Axie team in the CryptoKitties community. That's where we actually all met. So I knew them before they even started Axie Infinity.
Wow. So you're
And
friends with them,
yeah, we go
like
way back to that
yeah.
community, which was a really tight-knit, weird community in and of itself. It ended up being very cult-like, but yeah, we were all part of that and left for Axie.
We
Um,
rode out to a better world.
yeah, I forgot what were we talking about
Yeah,
there?
yeah. Well, what do you mean the
What were we
Niftyx?
talking about? Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah.
I was that's how I got involved heavily with Axie. I don't know what we were talking about prior to that, but the Axie shards are the ones that took off on Niftex first. And then that's kind of when I got the idea of, these were assets that already came with pre-established high values based on things that were said about the game or their uniqueness to the game, right? And I wanted to take something that was kind of normal, still cool because it's an origin, and see if we can then create value. So kind of go in the opposite direction.
So yeah,
That's kind
that's
of where
why
the
that's why
idea
you
sprung
created.
from.
And let me show people here. You
Right,
probably not
yeah.
in the screen, but here we have one of the first cocoa strain right here by what's it called? Milky.
Yeah.
It's one of the pieces that were made for that experiment with the Coke Axie. We also have this one. It's Where's My Coke, dude? Where's My Coke? And this is by who is it? I'm sorry, I don't have the name here.
I wanted to say it really quick regarding that piece. Dude,
Okay.
where's my Coke? People were actually did not promote this experiment. Obviously, using cocaine in your brand is probably not advisable. But
Yeah,
to
I
me,
understand. I
the
kind of understand
idea,
it. Yeah.
yeah, the idea of taking, a powerful substance like cocaine that it kind of has this glamour aspect to it. It was a really good way to create an analogy for what my relationship is like with Axie Infinity and these communities. They're very addicting. And I think everyone else that gets involved feels the same way. So I think Dude, Where's My Coke is a nice play on someone who's not getting their Axie Infinity fix.
True,
Um,
true,
so
true.
there's a little bit more depth to that too. It's a bit of sensationalism, but also everything that I do has to have an underlying meaning, or else the sensationalism is just that. And
Right.
I would never be so plain, I promise.
So I did read the article, like I said, with Niftex. You talked about it a bit about this there. That's where I learned, where
Yeah,
this all came from. We have this one too. This other Coke on Blue. That's a beautiful piece, man. Let me tell you, like, wow.
it's on the back of my phone. It's my wallpaper. I love it.
Yeah, we're looking at it right now, and bro, that's a perfectly executed piece. Um, I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just, I'm not really big in this type of art. I'm more into something more like the dudes Where's My Coke, kind of like
Uh-huh.
abstract, like kind of like funky, and and things like that. But that's a beautiful piece. Anyways, let's see if we can jump into I think we're in the last stretch here for real.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about NFT rentals in the future? Do you think it will be a bigger market than just simply buying and selling those assets? Like, because we
Well, I sure
haven't
hope
seen that
so.
yet. We haven't seen that yet, and I'm really
Yeah.
excited about it because, dude, imagine you rent your Axie, right? And there's a smart
Yeah.
contract. You put it out there, $5 a day, and bro, you don't have to worry about it. You have 2,000 Axies, boom, you can literally chill passively, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean that is my personal end game as far as my investment in Axie Infinity is concerned. I'm actually much heavier on land, my land investment, and obviously I'm hoping one day, ultimately I think all of Lunatia is 90 some thousand plots, the entire square. That's not just Q1, that's all four quadrants is something around 90,000
mhm,
uh, plots. And ultimately, even if the community grows tenfold, I feel like that's not going to be that many plots. The idea is there is a potential Axie Infinity future where, you know, there's so many people playing that you might not own land. It might be expensive to own land, period, for people a couple of years down the line. And it just might not be affordable for your average player to buy in
true,
with the limited number of plots that they have, which is a much smaller world than a lot of these other virtual worlds at
true.
90,000 plots. So, I do hope there's a day where we are able to rent literally our land out, and that, if that means that we are given a portion of the resources that they collect while on our plots, or however that works, the end game is passive income.
Yeah, yeah,
Period.
yeah. I see that. I see that, man, and I'm like, I'm bullish on that, on the rentals, on every single game too, not only on Axie. Like, I have weapons from other games that are like, I bought a weapon the other day, $700 or six hundred
Hmm.
dollars, something like that. And there's a new concept where is they're called blueprints. I don't know if you heard of that concept.
No.
Well, blueprints are just like they're NFTs, but with that NFT, you could create NFTs. You have the ownership. You are the machine. You are the one
Oh,
that
okay.
mints. You're the only one that can mint. So if there's 5 blueprints of a certain weapon, those 5 people are the only ones that can put NFTs out in the market.
Oh, interesting.
You are the machine, and not only
It's like you
that,
have the mold.
yeah, yeah, you have the mold. You have the mold. So if you sell the mold, it has intrinsic value. I think that's what
Yeah,
it's.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
the way you're like, okay, so what if those 5 people? You might ask yourself, so what if those 5 people just start minting, and then you flood the market? Well, there is a burning mechanism to that because
Yeah, interesting.
those assets that you put in the market out of the blueprint, they could be lost in game if you compete. Like one of the games that I'm.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
compete, you have an incentive to compete, right? But
Right.
if you bought that skin for $10, even though it's an NFT, as soon as you start competing with that NFT, then you are essentially burning that token if you lose.
Huh.
So there's various things that I'm looking at that I'm like, holy shit, this might be a really good concept. But anyway,
Yeah.
last question, man. Last question, so we can finish here. So what are you most excited about in the crypto world, and how do you see it? Like, just give me a little bit of how do you see this? Is this gonna like this brick wall that we have in all these countries, all this bullshit? Like, I'm just fucking sick and tired of this. I want this thing to take off. And not because of the
Yeah.
money. I want to be able to transact in a blockchain world. That's what I want every day. I
Yeah.
buy this, and I'm in the blockchain. Period.
Right.
So how do you see it?
Um, I don't know what the timeline for that looks like. I've been heavily involved for 3 years now in this space and these communities. And what I've learned over the course of 3 years is that I believe in it, and I just have to continue to be patient because I would get so frustrated in the beginning. If you go back to like the original documents when Axie Infinity sold Quadrant One, their timelines for how quickly things were going to move, that you would laugh at it today at where we're supposed to be as far as development is concerned. So the one thing I've learned is to actually not really focus on how quickly things are going to be done, just knowing that it is going to be done. I just think it's inevitable, um, and that's just how I feel about it.
Okay. Okay.
So
Wh-
I don't know what giant leap comes next. It will hopefully be some kind of layer, mass spread layer two solutions for just preventing the clogged network, which is can really be a project killer. Um,
or a project booster, actually, for a lot of the projects that
uh,
are behind. Because there are
oh
projects that are working, they're working really hard. And I say behind, not
yeah,
in behind like they're not working. Just like sometimes the community grows too quick and they want more than what the project can output. And we're even
yeah,
seeing this in the Axie world right now. Some people, even in chat, were like, I wouldn't say complaining, but having their thoughts about it. Like, hey guys, so we were supposed to have a bunch of content this month and this and that, and this is actually good for them in a way. Yeah, let it be clogged. Let people not be able to transact easily. Now we have time. Now we put in the work. So I see a plus in terms of team and the teams.
yeah. I
So they
get what
could
you're
blame it.
saying
They
as
could
far
blame
as
it
that's
on the
concerned.
clogged network. Like, oh no, it's
Yeah.
clogged. We
I mean,
can't.
I think the things that Axie Infinity is as far as challenges are concerned, they're working on Ronin and that'll be their layered two solution. I'm talking more of like more true startups. Like I think Axie Infinity has a solid enough base that they will continuously have support until this thing is seen through. You can't
Yes.
really compare them to your average startup. They're not really a startup on the blockchain right now.
No, they're a
But imagine,
powerhouse.
there's been some new art platforms that have launched recently for minting your artwork, and it happened when gas was spiking. And there was one platform where you can start your own contract, where all your pieces will be minted on your own contract, and the gas was like zero point 0.5 Ethereum.
That's
It's supposed to be a
crazy.
zero point 0.1 Ethereum charge. So no one's even using that platform truly to its potential yet because they can't even get on it um,
I think on
to
Rarible,
start
it's
interacting
the
with
same
it.
thing. You could create a collection. It's super expensive. I tried to do that yesterday for
Right.
this artist that I'm helping, and bro, it was at like $120. Like I put it in
Yeah.
dollars
So you
so
could.
that people understand. I don't know how much that is right now in Ethereum,
Right.
but bro, I was like, what the fuck? And then I had to mint one by one because it was better than making a contract and then minting on top of that contract. It was
Right.
so yeah, man. Hey, bro, it was really nice to talk to you. Um, I think you're a bright mind. I think you should keep fucking at it. I'm gonna support you the best way I can, whether it's with content, whether it's buying some of your art pieces, to a certain extent. I'm not fucking rich, like you said. We come from the same kind of base. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we're not whales out here. Maybe you're a whale now, but
We'll see. Hopefully I'm on my way.
but I learned a lot from you, man, and I appreciate that. I hope people watch this. This is a pretty long interview, but even in the future, when it blows up, I could say, when you blow up, I could say, hey, bro, I had an interview with this guy, and I'm friends with him. I could consider you my friend now. We're actually
Yeah, man.
starting to have a friendship. Here is where the friendship starts. I don't let people in terms of friendship because
Uh-huh.
it's a blockchain, man. Like you don't know who the fuck is the other person on the other side. So I consider you my
I
friend
think
now. You are
Axie
my friend
Infinity
now.
breaks a lot of those barriers, and
Yes.
and since we're both part of that community and coming, and congratulations on all your success as well. It's been a lot of fun watching your channel grow, and you will be great at it moving forward. I know it. I don't have the patience that it takes to do true gaming content like you. So it's a good fit for our community, and we definitely need it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it so much. And you were a great inspiration at the beginning, like I told you. So I appreciate it. Anyway, we'll close it right here. Thank you for hanging out
Okay.
again, and peace out, man. Much love.
All right,
All
man.
right.
Have a good one.
All right. Peace out, bro.